Hello, Culture Matters podcast. You are in store today. Before I introduce you to our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. The beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you. BB King. The King is back. If you listen to the episodes here on the Culture Matters podcast, you know our guest, episode 75. Early supporter of Culture Matters, early supporter of the Culture Matters podcast, of me, founder of BBD Solutions, the kingmaker, the rainmaker, the friend of the Culture Matters podcast. Tom Bove is back.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
I'll be back, he said last time, and now he's back to give us some more wisdom. I'd like to know what you learned in 2023. What's the biggest lesson of 2023 so far?
Wow. I should have been ready for this one. So a lot has transpired in 2023. I had another back surgery and we moved. We're living in a new home now, and that happened December 13th. So it was like very late in the year. So, but I suppose my biggest lesson is that you can't rely on others to create your destiny or your future. You have to create it yourself. And what you create yourself, no one could take away. They could try, but you're the creator of that, and it belongs to you.
What do you think of this quote that I picked today? The beautiful thing about learning is nobody can take it away from you.
Well, that kind of goes along with a little bit with what I just said, that whatever you create, creating could be a learning process as well. Creativity could come, during the learning process, or learning could come during the creative process. So I think they go hand in hand, honestly.
What has your business taught you about yourself, right? Because a lot of our listeners are business owners, entrepreneurs that are, day in, day out, attempting to push the limits. I mean, go back to when we first met, I was running around just sweating. I was always sweating.
That's because you wore that velvet jacket.
It seems like a meme. So what has your business journey taught you about yourself?
Well, as you know, my business journey has been interrupted a bit due to an automobile accident. I've been on disability since, late 2019. In 2024, I'm looking forward to getting back to work and growing my business. So what I did prior to 2019 has been on autopilot since then. And, I brought Michelle on as a partner. So now she's a partner in BBD Solutions as well. But during this whole process of, recovery, rehabilitation, and a couple different surgeries in that time frame, I've been able to not only increase the depth of knowledge that I have within my industry, but increase the depth of knowledge I have within myself as well. So, my opinion of myself hasn't changed, but my opinion of what my future looks like is different. I guess if that makes any sense.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am very excited. And it all goes back to kind of like what I told you after your accident. Don't let anybody else tell you what your future is going to be. You need to create it yourself. And I needed to hear that again. We spoke about that our last podcast. And I think I needed to hear that again. And that purposely kind of came back into my life. The universe brought it back because I was kind of getting into a little bit of a rut where I was letting other people determine what my future is going to look like based on my, physical well-being and whatnot. And I'm taking a little bit more control of that now. Not a little bit, actually a lot. So,
Mm.
um, so, the doctors say what they say, and I say what I say, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I was told I never use my arm again.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember,
isn't
and
that
what did I tell?
crazy?
And what did I tell you? When you told me that, what did I tell you?
That I'd use it.
Yeah, and I said, don't let somebody else determine your future. Make it yourself. And now what happens? You write me letters with your right hand.
What are the odds? What are the odds? Or is that your point?
Well, it's not what are the odds. It's, the odds are what you make them. Really, you know, you we as human beings have unlimited potential. Honestly, we do. And the more I read and the more I learn, um, the more that is really becoming more evident to me that as human beings we have infinite potential for anything, for
Mm.
knowledge, for our our destiny, our businesses, and it all really comes from what we put into it.
Do you think you're going to take your pain with this accident and all that and put it into your purpose?
Pain with purpose. I like that.
Like, is that going
Have
to
you?
drive you, you think?
Well, no, I don't think I'm going to have the pain drive me. Honestly, it's not a good driver. Honestly,
To-
uh,
Toxic Tom, we'll call you.
yeah, toxic Tom. No, no, I really. Um, it's funny because so New Year's Eve, Michelle had two bags on the table, a pen and some post-it notes. And one bag said bad juju, and the other bag said 2024. And for bad juju, we wrote down what we wanted to leave behind in 2023. And for 2024, we wrote down what we wanted to, what we wanted to put into, or what we're going to bring out of 2024. So for the bad juju, the first thing I wrote down was pain, obviously. But and judgment and a couple other things that I'm trying to work through as a human being. But for the 2024, I wrote down some interesting things. Um, you know, passion, understanding. I think understanding is a big one for me as I continue to do the best I can to be the best me I can be. Uh, understanding of where I am, understanding where other people are, empathy, stuff like that. It's always been a little bit of a weak spot of mine that I've been working on. So, but I also put in, getting back to work, 2024. Following through with my goals in 2024. And this is the year it's going to happen. And I always said that last year, and I said that in 2022 as well. But for some reason, this year feels different. We're living in a new space, which is much better than what we were living before. Not that we were living in a really bad place. We're still on the island. We're just in a different part of the island, and it feels a lot better. It feels a lot more positive where we are right now.
Hmm. Hey, what do you say to our listeners that really identify with what you just said about you had a thought in your mind of what would happen, and it may not have happened in the time that you thought it was going to happen or you wanted it to happen. And they're feeling like they're connecting with that. Like, damn, I can
Yeah.
relate to that. And I'm not moving yet in the way that I would have hoped.
Well, this kind of goes back to our previous conversation in our last podcast where you're attached to a time frame, um, which I was attached to a time frame, and if I measured my success by that, then I would have failed. Okay, but if you like the way I look at that is if you put if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will always fail. So judge your like measure yourself by things that are uh, not reasonable but attainable, or like, stretch yourself a little bit. But so attach yourself to an outcome or a process. Okay, even attaching yourself to an outcome could be a little dangerous because you'll do everything you can um, to like if you attach yourself to an outcome, you might miss other opportunities. Does that make sense? It's kind of like following the evidence as opposed to letting the evidence or letting or finding evidence to prove your point. Follow the evidence. So it's the same thing with same thing with
Self-awareness.
filing an outcome. So don't attach yourself to things that'll take you to a specific outcome. Leave yourself open, okay, and follow a process that you have set up within yourself and within your community, even, or within your routine or whatnot. But if you attach yourself to a specific time frame and something happens and you're not able to make it, and you judge yourself, and by that way, you'll judge yourself as a failure. If you attach yourself to a particular outcome and the outcome becomes something different or the scope changes, okay, there's always scope creep, but something bigger may come of it. So
how have you kept your mind from going dark throughout this journey? There's got to be people listening that have been hit with things out of their control, like we both have.
Yeah, so I surround myself with good people. You are one of them. Michelle, I have an awesome family, and I have really good friends that it's every now and then I go to a dark place, but like with the people I have around me, it's almost impossible to stay there.
What sources of because you send me videos, like what sources of inspiration do you follow at this point that you'd recommend?
Sources are
Or inspiration, information, that you've used to stay in a positive up and up.
well, I shared some things that I follow on Instagram with you.
Yeah.
One is I can't remember their names. One has to do with success. The other one is this guy Jefferson who's a trial attorney, and he has helped me take a look at my interactions with people that are toxic or people that are that are just people who always want to fight or narcissists or something, and how to actually speak with them without losing my own brain or my own mind. And I've implemented some of his techniques when speaking with people like that, because there's always going to be people like that in your life. We all have family. Every family has that one person, or even just people in general, customer service when you're trying to return something or you're getting your car fixed or something. You don't know who you're going to run into, but having these techniques in your back pocket that I've picked up over, say, YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. I just really I stopped following politics on social media, and I started following self-awareness, self-help,
Wow.
things like that. So I really kind of complete changed what has been coming into my feed from what's going on in the world that's so bad, and then I switched it out with ways where I can make a difference, what I can do to make a difference, how I can change how my behaviors to make a difference in this world.
People listening to this in 2024, what can they do to work with you? What business can you give them, or what value can you give them? What business? They're listening to this 2024, 2025.
Okay, so our business, Michelle is looking over our business right now, and if they have questions about cloud services or IT in general, they could contact us at info@mybbds.com, and Michelle will reach out to them and um, find out what their needs are and qualify them and and get them towards the right solution. Michelle's business, you recently had her on as a guest as well. Um,
Trusted.
she, yep, yep. She was very happy about that. It was a She felt it was a very good podcast, and she really liked the interaction with you. And she,
Nice.
talked about her business as well, which is Beyond Strategy Partners, where they work with businesses to help align their culture, kind of like you a little bit. I think you guys
Wow.
can be very synergistic in what you do, but um, and you're going to meet her two partners shortly once I make that introduction. But with regard to technology and that part of our lives, info@mybbds.com, and that'll get you right to Michelle.
Why are cloud services valuable to business owners, like entrepreneurs listening?
Cloud services allow small businesses to reap the benefits of big businesses. Like it really opens up their opportunities, makes them a lot more secure. Most people think that having an on-premise solution is the most secure, but it's really not. Cloud has come so far that it's a lot more secure than having an on-premise um, solution for their IT. Uh, and it gives them a lot more flexibility, and it gives them a lot more, they can leverage much larger resources and tools that currently or previously weren't available to small to medium-sized businesses. Now the cloud opens all that up to that market, allowing them to really focus on what they do
Hmm.
and kind of leave the other stuff to the people who work in the cloud. So they can, like, if they're accounting firms, they're a law firm, if whatever they do, if they're a school, whatever they can focus on their core business, what they do, and all the technology portion will pretty much be on autopilot once it's set up correctly in the cloud.
You talk about introductions. So, uh, man, you've made some quality introductions over the years to yours truly. I could say, the legal representation that we have today, that's unbelievable, is a byproduct. I don't even know if you know this, of someone that I met through you.
Yeah,
And
we
so,
had that.
yeah, I'd like the master class on connecting people, the value of introductions. Where would you start if you were teaching some young acolytes on why to be a connector, how to go about it, as we close our show?
How to be a connector? Well, know who's in your network, and know what they do. You have to be aware of what they do. So you have to really kind of be, you really have to know your network. When I first started on using LinkedIn, I accepted every invitation that came my way, and now I'm a lot more um, judicious about ones I accept. I'd like to know about the person, uh, so I could give an honest referral or introduction or something like that. If I don't know you, how can I really kind of make that introduction or a referral? So knowing who's in your atmosphere or who's in your circle or who's in your network or whatnot really is the first part. And then just be open to, you know, like I am a connector. People turn to me to connect connect them to people. I still get requests, even not being in not even being working in the last several years, but I still get requests. Can you introduce me to this person? And I do happily. Uh, yeah, it's bringing people together and bringing people I like together. It's one of my most favorite things to do. Like I brought you together with a couple of people that were very close to me. So I think, the crux of it is that you really need to know who you're introducing. I mean, that's one
What
of
do
the
you
most
say to
important parts.
what do you say to the person? So know about them. Know if it makes sense.
Yes.
And then what do you say to the person that says, well, what's in it for me? Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't get anything from it.
Well, that's the wrong way to live. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be, I mean, you're doing for the betterment of two other people, not yourself. Like you gotta leave yourself out of it. Really, you're just a catalyst. And the
Hmm.
definition of a catalyst in chemistry is it's a substance or a compound that creates a reaction for two other compounds, but is not consumed by that reaction. Meaning that, it's just a spark really to get something else started. And that's what you have to be as a catalyst or as a networker, introduction person, and whatnot. It's not about you. It's about the two other individuals or, whomever else you're bringing together.
That was well said, my friend. If you're listening to this episode, please share this with a friend that is a catalyst or maybe is a bit of a jerk that needs a wake-up call. Please share this episode to someone you care about. Please leave a review in the comments or a review on the Culture Matters podcast. They make all the difference for us. Tom, in closing, where can people reach out to you easiest?
Reach out to me is info@mybbds.com.
And one word for 2024.
One word for 2024. Progress.
Thank you all for listening. Please share this to someone in your life. Leave a review, and we will see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast.